Welcome back to Beards and Brews. This week's review is going to be Trading Places from 1983. And holy shit, Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy in their prime.
And Jamie Lee Curtis in her prime.
In her buff.
Wow.
We'll get to that.
We're already there.
No, all right. Well, those titties.
But no, like the writing in this movie is pretty fucking amazing. It's great.
The word thoroughbred gets tossed around a lot.
There's some other words that get tossed around too, but I'd like to keep making this podcast. That's the 80s, everybody.
Yep. There were, you know what words they are. We don't need to say them.
Israel.
Is that in there? Damn it, is Mila Kunis coming back?
Yes, as long as it's not Katie Homeless.
Oh.
Anyways, this is a damn...
It's so simple. Like, the premise is just like, you just swap out the highest and lowest denominator and just see what happens. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Isn't this kind of exactly what happened in The Departed, except without cops?
Did Nicholson pull a wiener in the theater? You're right, this is the same movie.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I bet he calls it The Shining.
Yeah.
This movie takes place in Philadelphia, and what I mean, this wasn't written by Dan Aykroyd, but I feel like he had a lot of say in it, because like when he makes a movie in a city, he likes to throw in a lot of the atmosphere and all that stuff. And this movie starts out giving you like a little tour of the place, like all these places you totally know.
Rain, Liberty Bell, statues, so many statues that Rocky gets one next to Hokie City.
I just assumed this was New York until I saw like City of Philadelphia written on a building or something, and I'm like, oh, scratch. This isn't New York.
But the picture picks up with, I'm rich and excited by pork bellies, Ghostbusters Dan Aykroyd.
Who isn't excited by pork bellies? They are delicious, and you can make bacon from them, which you might find on a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich.
Mayhap.
Immediately breaks the fourth wall.
Fucking love that scene.
You can't break the fourth wall whenever your stone building is filled with rich woods and two angry old guy Muppets, known as the Dukes.
I mean, I get that he's like maybe like a poorer fellow, but like, how does he not know what a BLT is?
They even have them at McDonald's, or wait, what is it that they have in Coming to America? It's not McDonald's, it's like Mc something else. Never mind, cut that. It's like McDougan's or something. They got the McDLT.
Oh.
It sounds dirty.
It does.
We find out that Dan Aykroyd's character, a Winthorpe, works for the Duke brothers. And they're also into thick wood and pork belly.
You gross. No, these guys are pretty much like the Koch brothers or something. They're just like ultra rich guys who just give no fucks. They just have billions of dollars and they just play around with people.
These are gentlemen who've like been born and raised in like the very top floor of a skyscraper, and they have no clue how the real world works. Like they had one of the fellas looking through a science magazine, and after whatever he read, he's like, these guys are idiots. These scientists don't know anything.
They even make a joke that whenever they said it, I was like, you know what? That's a joke Eric would make on the cast. We're like, these pork belly futures went to belly up. And they're like, I was like, that sounds like some shit Eric would say.
Man, I had a good laugh at that.
Then we get introduced to Eddie Murphy and his wonderful character, Billy Ray Valentine. And at this moment, he is posing as a legless Vietnam vet, but he's not bitter.
But the thing is, with a name like Valentine, it seems like he's a victim of circumstance.
Ooh, let's see what you did there.
I don't.
Thought you called it your pecker. That's
what?
Your Chandler.
Go listen to our Trimmers cast. This is pretty neat.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Maybe you should listen to that and get back with us. He's rolling around on a little cart, pretending to have no legs, trying to get people.
I have no legs.
Trying to get that cash.
But he's being like super creepy about it. Like he's just grabbing onto people until he like tries to shake out change or something. Super weird.
It's fucking aggressive as fuck too. Like that lady, he's like, "Hey, you ever been with a legless man? Once you head stump, you'll never go back." And she's like, "Oh!" and tries to walk
She-
away. He's like, "Hi, bitch!"
Yeah. And I love how he like assimilates to each situation. Like the cops roll up on him, and all of a sudden he's like Stevie Wonder, blind and whatnot.
Oh yeah, he's like, "I'm blind too."
I mean, according to Shaq, he might not be.
We get a little shot of the Dukes brothers at this point. They're arguing over human nature, and one of them's like, "Mom always said you were greedy," and he's like, "Well, that's a compliment." And he gives this dude a $5 Christmas bonus.
Oh yeah, his butler.
He's like,
The-
"Oh yeah, I'll go see a movie by myself."
The other fucking brother has the nerve to go, "Half that's from me."
I just love how
Uh,
this movie goes out of the way to show how much of a dirtbag both these fellas are.
oh yeah,
But they try to seem moral the whole time. Like this whole science experiment they do with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy is just like I feel like they've done it before. I feel like they've ruined somebody else's lives. Wasn't there like a throwaway line somewhere? It's like, oh, like last time or whatever.
the usual.
Well, like,
Like,
how did
it
Dan
just-
Aykroyd get to where he was anyway? Like, I know he went to Harvard or whatever, but
He's a thoroughbred, sir.
Yeah.
They make sure to say that he's a thoroughbred product of his environment.
It's mentioned early on that his father had a big thing with the Duke brothers before he passed away. So he was just like inherited the money. He's old money.
Money, money, money! Shane McMahon style.
You get that McMahon stride.
No chance in hell!
I'm more thinking that Ted DiBiase money.
Oh, money, 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 money.
I'm making the hand motions in my living room, but y'all can't see that.
Yeah. Everybody's got a price. And then fucking Vincent's over there just standing. He'll do
All
whatever
right, this isn't a wrestling podcast. Let's move on.
Oh. Yeah, but then we get cut back to our good friend Bully Ray, and he's getting lifted up off his cart by the policia. And he's like, "I got legs, praise Jesus! I can't believe it." The shit they're doing
Backstep.
is so fucking good. Yeah, he's trying to like backpedal out of there.
I can see, I can walk, I have legs. Praise Jesus.
That's when he meets the other character, racist ass Winthorpe.
Yeah, and they literally run into each other, which is nice.
He thinks he's being fucking robbed because Eddie Murphy literally just bumps into him while trying to like skirt away from the popo.
I know people have like a fight and flight response or whatever, but as soon as like he just taps into him, he's like, "Oh, thief, thief!"
No,
This-
he gets down on the ground. He's like, "Take my briefcase, take my money, take anything. Don't kill me."
What a puss!
What a big old puss.
He somehow, like, Dan Aykroyd pretty much shoves this suitcase into his hand, and he's like, "What?" And the cops are like, "Come here!" And he's like, "Oh shit!" So he runs in the building, and he gets chased around like kind of Benny Hill style, and then he ends up with 20 guns in his face.
Problem officer.
My favorite part is he's like, "Can I get a lawyer?" And then there's like 20 lawyers in the corner that just turn their heads away.
They're just like,
Yeah, I wrote that line down too. Is there a lawyer in the house? Everyone just looks away.
Push. But this is also the setup for the entire story. They see that they have a character who is broken. They see that they have a character who is this thoroughbred, as they put it. And they want to see, given the right push, if this broken person, this person who has probably been stealing since he could crawl, could outdo Winthorpe, who would then crumble and become a hoodlum.
This whole thing is just to make sure they're not just a product of their environment, or as earlier, a victim of circumstance.
Yeah, it's all nature versus nurture. Very, very scientific.
You could tell he was reading that Science Whatever magazine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure both the Duke brothers have degrees in biology and chemistry.
Or they're just sociopaths. Whatever.
Oh, that could be it too.
That's 110.
Man, if I could be anything in the world, it would be a billionaire sociopath.
Batman?
Yes.
Oh man, I just got some weird like American Psycho Batman vibes.
Oh yeah, see? Now you know. Knowing's half the battle.
Christian Bale, get at us.
Yeah, or don't.
He's uncomfortably British.
It then cuts to Dan Aykroyd in his house celebrating with his wife, and she's so turned on by his bravado that she's like, "I want you now." And their butler is like, "What about dessert?" And he goes, "You can have it." The butler's just like, "Okay, thanks." Takes it in the fucking kitchen and dumps it in the trash.
Yeah, the dessert that he's making right there, which is like, what is it, like crepes with Grand Marnier or something? I don't know. I'm not savvy on rich people dessert.
Something really fancy that was like flambéed and everything right in front of him.
Then we get another cut of Billy Ray sitting in jail, and he's telling, his story. He's like, I was robbing that fool, and then I beat up like 10 cuts. I cut him up with my hands, and then he's like, yeah, and a quart of blood will fall out of you.
I gotta be honest, like, I know you're trying to do Eddie Murphy in this movie, but really all I'm hearing is Donkey.
That's all it's gonna be, because Donkey is Eddie Murphy.
Can you not be Donkey for 5 minutes?
I like that boulder.
Oh, come on,
a nice boulder. And in the morning, I'm making waffles.
Donkey, when they brought you into this jail, you was crying like a pussy.
They threw tear gas into my...
He's like, I won't cry. He's got the fucking gumption. This dude is like fucking 6'4", probably 350. Stands up, he goes, yeah, you lucky that there's cops around here at cell number 3 because your big Barry White looking ass jive
it ain't cool being no jive turkey so close to Thanksgiving.
I mean, that one guy just had like one line the entire time. Just, yeah.
Yeah. He always leans in real close for it, too.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's what I'm here for.
He's talking all this shit, right? He's like, he's just telling all these lies so he didn't get his shit pushed in or whatever. Then all of a sudden, cop's just like, hey, you made bail. He's like, I did? I did.
That's right, I did. So he's walking down the front stairs of the jailhouse. And there's resisting arrest. And he's like, may I suggest using your nightstick, officer?
And he's just all disgruntled, like, whatever, and just chucks the guy into the police station.
Yeah. And then the old Muppet dudes, they pull up in their car.
The old Muppet dudes.
And I
get it.
Yeah, to get him to join them, they're like, we got whiskey. Oh, you can drink. And they're shaking at him like a little toddler, like, go and get it.
I mean, to be fair, that would work on me, and I'm not homeless.
Well, it did work on him. He crawls in, and they're like, here, have a cigar. He takes all the cigars.
But he doesn't just take it. He just, like, has the whiskey and a handful of cigars just, like, pressed against his chest, like nobody's gonna take it away from him.
Yeah, like, Mom, please don't.
I gotta save this for later.
And at this point, like, they're trying to pitch this whole thing. Like, listen, we posted your bail, and, we have this dumb program where we take people off the street, and we just give them everything, see if they can succeed. And he has this really wonderful moment with the driver. He's like, excuse me 1 minute. Leans in. Is this real? He's like, yeah.
Then he sits back, he's like, this is a prank, right? Y'all a couple of homosexuals. Except for he doesn't use that term.
Oh
it was
God,
the
8. 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, he even introduces himself after they introduce themselves as the Dukes. He's like, Billy Ray Valentine, Capricorn.
At this point, everybody gets like a nickname. So Randolph becomes Randy. And the other guy, I forgot what his name was. Morty. But then, like, Billy Ray just becomes William.
Yeah, he becomes formal. This next bit fucking made me lose my shit. So they take him in the house, and he's trying to steal all of his own shit. They're like, you don't have to steal it. It's yours, William.
And he's just, like, casually just, like, walking about, shoving things in his pocket nonchalantly and whatnot.
Yeah, and he's like, what about this vase? It's mine, right? He's like, I can break it if I wanted to. And he's like, yeah, it's your vase. And then he breaks it.
He's like, oh shit.
He's like, look, man, I didn't mean to do that. And he goes, it's okay. It was your vase. He goes, oh. He goes, and the insurance money on it, you just made it about 15 grand. He goes, what else? You want me to break some more shit? And everyone's like, no.
Yeah.
But the bit that I'm talking about, the one that just really got me going, is he's like, he needs to get cleaned up. So they go take him into a jacuzzi bath.
Oh,
and
no.
His butler's standing there. He goes, jacuzzi, sir. He goes, jacuzzi, I knew y'all were homosexuals. You all ain't jacuzzi and nothing.
Yeah. But even the butler guy, he was just like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And he fucking walks out, and Billy Ray's in there. He's having a good time, so he's like singing. And then the old fucking curmudgeon white Muppet dudes are like, what's that? And the butler's like, he's singing, sir. He goes, yes, they're very musical people.
That fucking had me dying. And he has like a great line too. He's like, he was a kid, it's like if you wanted a jacuzzi, you had to fart in the tub.
Yeah. So now they have easily set Billy Ray up in Winthorpe's house with all his things.
Overnight, too, because, like, real quick, so in order to get this little swap or whatever, they had to frame Lewis with like a little bit of a drug bust and also like a theft thing. They have this dude like drop some stuff in his pockets while they're having a meeting, and they oust him in front of everybody.
This dude is talked about a little bit earlier when Lewis Winthorpe is going through the checks that are being dispersed out to the employees, and he comes across a check to a gentleman by the name of I don't have it here in my notes, but you guys probably know it. What's his name?
Mr. X.
He's the principal from the Breakfast Club. That's who he is.
He is the principal from the Breakfast Club.
Winthorpe gets the horns.
Yeah.
he certainly does.
Clarence Beeks. So he notices a check for Clarence Beeks, and it turns out this guy that sets all of this shit up is Clarence Beeks.
Yeah, and his thing is that he's responsible for getting insider information for the stock markets. So they're paying this guy off so he can distribute the secret information to the Dukes.
Yep. To give him early info on the crop report. Now, Winthorpe gets framed, and the best part about it is he's like, "It wasn't me." And as they're escorting him out, it shows like his friends and whatnot, like, "Oh, shit," curmudgeon. And then it shows the paintings, and the paintings are a shame.
There's such good sight gags along with written humor. It's just, I don't know. It's super charming that way.
So they take him down to jail, and he's like, "I want a lawyer," and the guy's just like, "Strip, you little shit!" Just fucking punks him.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? All these witnesses fucking tackled.
Yeah, and the dude taste tests PCP.
I just realized that bald cop is fucking Frank Oz from the Blues Brothers. He's the guy that gave the prophylactics or whatever to Belushi. He's playing the same fucking character.
I feel like there's a lot of crossover here.
Well, I mean, the unfunny Belushi's in the movie.
Yeah, he's the ape.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he gropes a lady. I'm sad now. Unfunnily, yeah.
Just groping a lady. She's like, "I don't want to do this, but he's a Belushi." But then, we get another cut of Billy Ray. He's in the bar now. He's buying champagne for everybody. And his jail buddies that he was bragging to, they're like, "Oh, so you are a big badass. Well, where's his limo?" He's like, "It's out front." They go out front. There's his limo. They're like, well, shit." He goes, "Well, I'm having a house party."
Of course
and he gets everybody in the club up in his hizzle, and they're getting tipsy. And there's a chick on his couch that looks dead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Like, this lively party is going on. There's like 2 or 3 chicks just like laying flat, not moving. There's even one propped up against another dude. He's like smoking a cigar, and I think she was fucking dead.
Maybe Winthorpe left some of that PCP behind,
Innocent until proven guilty, Chandler.
Okay. Maybe we shouldn't imply ownership. Maybe we should say some of the PCP was left behind after Winthorpe went to jail for possession of PCP.
I dig it. If the glove don't fit,
you must acquit.
I'll tell you what don't fit. Those shirts, because they about to come off, the titties coming out. It's a real party now.
Man,
it all happens at once.
Okay with it until the titties came out, and then he was like, all right, that's it. Who putting their clothes out on the floor?
This party is getting too crazy. The titties are coming out. Have y'all ever heard of coasters? Y'all gotta go.
Because, he's like, "That's a Persian rug. Get your titties off my Persian rug." And his butler's like,
Persia.
"Sir, should I make some more hors d'oeuvres for your guests?" And he goes, "Fuck this."
He's so matter of fact. He's like, "Get the fuck out."
Man, 80s Eddie Murphy.
Oh,
it was really great.
The butler kind of bonds with him immediately because Billy Ray is a human. He's used to Winthorpe, this what's the word?
He's just super couth. He's very he has no empathy. Like, he even made a face when Billy Ray thanked him at the door after he rushed all those people out, because it had been probably the first time he'd ever been thanked for doing this job.
And that was really cool because it's like, okay, there's a little development with them, and that was a fun bit. And so while he's going up to go to sleep, it's going to show us Winthorpe just
oh my god,
beat to
he's a mess.
sitting in jail.
He's got like a
And-
huge shiner like on his eye. Like he's got a bloody lip, busted nose, no clothes except for like his underwear and like a t-shirt.
Yep. Last we
And-
saw him, he was in a fine suit. Now he's wearing whatever he could hobble together from the men who beat him.
Yeah, like whatever wasn't claimed at the police station, they just threw on this guy. And we find out like not only was he roughed up, he was almost raped. They tried to bend him over and everything.
The first thing he says when he walks out, he gets bailed out by his, I guess, fiance at the time. And the
Yeah.
first thing he does is he goes storming over to her, pointing back at the door. Those men wanted to have sex with me.
Just that little turn of the finger and pointing in the air, just whoa.
And-
It's probably because of his soft hands.
One of the best bits in here is the fact that Winthrop didn't do it, but if you're going to accuse him, you have to accuse him properly because he is a proper man and he wants the details straight. Because his wife goes, or his fiance is like, "You're in here because you're a heroin dealer," and he goes, "It was PCP."
It was angel dust, not heroin.
And then as they're walking down the front stairs, Jamie Lee Curtis runs over and starts like making out with him and talking about like sucking his dick.
Like in the middle of the fucking middle public too.
Hey,
Yeah,
baby,
like
I just
a-
want one more
the-
hit. Just give me one more hit. I'll do whatever you want.
And
Dude,
she immediately goes down and unzips his pants and just stays there for a couple minutes, like in front of the police station where she just served time for being busted for being a whore.
And then
Oh
all
yeah,
this,
that's an important thing. Jamie Lee Curtis is a prostitute. It's not just a nice Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween, not just teenage babysitter. She's a prostitute in this.
yep, and she's making good money apparently.
Hey, another 3 years on her back and she can retire on it.
Well, she keeps her costs low.
Grand.
But the
That's-
principal from the Breakfast Club is like already on it. So to shame him even further, he's already lost his job. He's lost all of his money. He doesn't know quite yet. But in order to get him separated from his fiancée, he paid Jamie Lee Curtis to make this big old scene to just kind of finalize the whole thing so that she can storm away.
Which she does in an amazing fashion. And Jamie Lee Curtis is like, "Hey, your friend paid me. You said it'd get you off." And he was like, "What? Who?" And the dude's gone.
I like how Dan Aykroyd was like, "You just ruined my life," and she's like, "Hey, $100 is $100."
Yeah, nothing personal. It's just business.
To be fair,
So-
that is a fair point. $100 is $100.
Now remember, it's just business. This is how the next thing happens. He doesn't have any cash. Jamie Lee does. He then tells her, "I will pay you $50 for the $20 cab ride." She's like, "Okay." Well, he gets home, knocks on his door. "Hey, Coleman, let me in." Coleman, who knows him, he knows Coleman, is like, "No Coleman here. You keep knocking, I'm gonna have to call the cops." Shuts the door in his face.
But they don't stop there. They go to his banks so he
This
can
is-
withdraw some money. Because he has all these wonderful credit cards, all gold, platinum, what have you. He travels the world. It's good in 86 different countries. So he tries to cut a check to cash for $1,000, and the bank's just like, hey, you're a loser. Get out.
By the way, I feel like for being someone as rich as Winthrop was or is, 86 different countries really isn't that much. Anybody else think that? Because like 86, like I can count 86 different countries, and we're not even getting into like the shitty ones.
I mean, we're talking about a time when there was a Czechoslovakia, so maybe there weren't so many. They weren't chopped up yet.
Bork.
Oh, alright.
Yeah, I guess the Soviet Union was like, I don't know, 25 of them. But come on, there's. All right.
So, did anyone else get amused whenever they walk him out? They walk him out. After they walked him out, he's outside of the fucking bank, already out. The guard throws him on the ground.
Yeah. He's just there on his knees.
And so then he has to basically team up with Jamie Lee. And just so you guys know, the only ghosts getting busted in this film are all the dead babies in Jamie Lee's hooker tummy.
Oh.
Hmm.
That's the Chandler. I'm disappointed.
Oh, that tickled me.
You know what tickled me? Billy Ray's first day on the job as a commodity broker.
And he's just like a fucking savant or something.
I guess like he has some kind of like I don't know, poor intuition, and they're doing some like pork belly trades just before Christmas. So he's like, no, don't buy it now because everybody's trying to save a penny for Christmas, yada yada yada. And they're just like, okay. And it turns out he's a fucking genius.
Well, he knows how to run the books because Duke and Duke are just bookies.
But wait, what are commodities?
Not only do they deal in pork bellies, but they also deal in coffee, concentrated orange juice, gold, wheat, and there's something else, I'm sure.
But they explain to our good friend there what they're doing. Like Chandler said, he's a savant. Now, next time we see Jamie Lee, this is where my ability to have seen this not on television for the first time really gets to kick in. So she's standing there in her dress and her little Orphan Annie wig, and she takes it off.
Oh yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis actually took Winthorpe back to her house and was just keeping him tidy there for a moment, just to give him a little place to stay.
Yeah, she explains that she'll help him for 5 figures since she saved up $42K from hooking. And then we get to see her tits.
Yep. Nice little cut there. Yes, we do.
All I'm saying is...
Just out of nowhere.
Yeah, but it makes sense now why Michael Myers has been chasing her all this time.
Because they are fantastic.
I was tempted to try out my G.I. Joe Kung Fu grip.
Isn't Michael Myers like her brother?
Perhaps stepbrother. There's a whole category for that.
Man, what's with the 80s and incest in their comedies? McFly.
Maybe they were just a little bit more liberal about certain things during the Reagan era. Cut down on drugs. You can't smoke weed, but, go ahead and put your dick in your sister. That's fine.
Yeah. Can't keep it in your pants, keep it in the family.
Oh, God, man. It's like just like a big old wet kiss just for luck. All over again. Did you guys notice, like, Winthorpe's fiance is now sitting at some country club or some shit when he goes to visit her, but she has in one day switched from Winthorpe to this other fucking dude. 100%. He's calling her babe. He's calling him. Yeah. And Todd.
She was already threatening, like, oh, I'm going to go to this thing with Todd if you don't want to go with me.
Mm.
So, like, I'm pretty sure they were already a thing.
Well, when you get to that, when you get that higher level of echelon when it comes to money, they're just all just fucking each other and throwing money at each other. It doesn't matter.
Just wiping
get rich.
Wait, hang on. Oh, that came at me at once.
All I said was, I need to get rich. I need to become a billionaire sociopath.
And I said they're wiping to come up with 50s.
God.
But Jamie Lee called Winthorpe Louie, because his name's Lewis. Called him Louie. And somehow the girlfriend already knows that apparently he's talking to Jamie Lee, and she calls him Louie because she's like, Louie.
I figured that was sarcasm because that's what she called him on the steps of the police department.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, just like get the fuck out of here, Louie.
Louie.
Masturbator and Commander Louis C.K.
Hey, look, he asked if they wanted to hang out. He told them.
Everybody knows. People just like drilled him into the ground anyways. Cause
would you wanna just stand there and watch me while I pull my penis out and I'm gonna masturbate.
Would you be interested in watching a balding, out of shape man jerk one off?
This Irish Mexican man.
I'm very pasty and sloppy.
Oh no.
He's more Mexican than Carlos Mencia.
That's true. Don't you mean, what was his name, Fred or Todd or something stupid?
Yeah, he had like a terribly plumber name.
Mario.
It was like so Frank Schwartz or something. Ned Arnold.
Ned. No, he's my
fucking
neighbor.
Ned.
Stupid sexy Flanders.
Plumber no.
Oh, stupid sexy Flanders. But now he's got no money, so he needs to make some money. He goes and has to sell his $9,000 watch for $50.
The dude at the pawn shop was super smart. This dude comes in, busted-faced, busted clothes, with one of the nicest watches he's probably ever seen. He's like, nope, ain't touching that. That's hot as shit.
He's like, it's not stolen, it's mine, and it's worth $9,000. I'll give you 50. And then he goes, how much for the gun?
Yeah.
Yeah, the pawn shop guy gives him a look like, all right, now we're talking.
Yeah, or we're just bartering.
But, by the way, I don't know what Bo Diddley looks like, but according to the credits, that guy is Bo Diddley.
Bo diddly do, do scooty doo.
There's another fun little cameo, although I guess it wasn't a cameo at the time. It was an actual job at the time. Coming up toward the end. We'll talk about that here in a bit.
Foreshadow.
Want to know more?
Keep listening.
Man.
So he's got this gun now, and he sees Billy Ray dining in this fine restaurant where he should be with all of his friends. And this dude tells this terrible joke about a car with S's on it because he wanted to see his S car go.
That's a
Rich person
joke.
laugh.
Oh, quite.
And then Billy Ray drops a fucking truth bomb on the villain from Wild Wild West, Dr. Loveless.
Oh.
No.
And he's like, you gonna need every penny you got or that lady gonna leave you. And he's like, oh, you're a funny man.
Yeah, he's like, you have provoked my ability to laugh.
I have been triggered with
Oh, no.
funny.
Please power up my giant mechanical spider.
What's great about the scene, it has to be a visual gag because it's so fucking perfect, but the framing, he's just standing in the window front and center where everybody can clearly just see him, and he's just getting shit on by the weather. He's a mess.
Yeah, just pouring down the rain, standing in the window. It's very, hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah. Like, there's no way they can't see the man. He's right next to him.
Yeah, and I think the Duke brothers actually give each other a look like, should we just ignore him? Yeah, let's just pretend we don't see him.
Yeah, but standing in the rain gets him all sick to the point that he has to go, like, lay in bed for a few days and get naked snuggles from Jamie Lee.
Yeah.
I mean, if I lived with a prostitute, Jamie Lee Curtis, I'd probably get an excuse to lay in bed with her too.
Look, she was protecting her investment.
And that's fair.
I'm just thinking, like, in the middle of the night, you just hear Activia.
Oh,
Oh, that
we
can't
don't have
be.
to wash those sheets, and not for the good reason.
Oh, not tonight, baby. I'm too regular.
Shut up. I don't even know what that means.
It means we got Melissa McCarthy coming back.
Oh, no.
Pooping in the streets, shitting in the sheets.
And then also again in the sink.
She hands him a newspaper. It's like, read your paper. I'm going to go, take care of some stuff. And he sees on the front page, there's Billy Ray. And he's like, for Christmas, this is what they got. And he goes, I'll give him a Christmas present. He'll never forget. And the way that he delivers that line is so good.
It's so pompous, but yet, like, vengeful.
Yeah.
Somehow, in the next few hours, because they're having this party that he's going to crash, somehow he gets a full Santa suit with no money.
Bro.
Life finds a way.
This is the section of the movie that I have loved since I was a child. And it's so fucking good.
It's so dark, too, which is crazy.
I think they kind of based Billy Bob Thornton's character of Bad Santa on this short little scene.
Oh my gosh.
100% agree with you.
This is Dan Aykroyd's character at its absolute lowest. He's so shit out of luck, and he's trying to just impersonate Santa. He's stealing food from the buffet or whatever.
Yeah, he's like putting raw ham into his pockets.
Yeah, and like a whole fucking salmon in his goddamn lapel. It's
Salmon fillet just stuffed into his shirt.
And the whole point of this is not for him to mingle, but to kind of like break into his old office and plant drugs on Eddie Murphy's new stuff, just like he did to him, supposedly.
Yes, just as he believes was done to him. So he goes in there and he's planting all these drugs and he goes, get in here! because once Eddie Murphy walks in there, he tries to just the bag's still in his fucking hand,
Yeah.
and he tries to like blame Eddie Murphy to have all the drugs. He goes, "Look, he's got all the bad ones: uppers, downers, a marijuana cigarette." And he goes, "Look, man, this is just some primitive attempt to frame me. This man's clearly crazy. I'm calling security."
And then he points a roast beef at him.
Yeah. And he just looks at it like, whatever, and he goes, "Hello, security," and he puts the roast beef down and pulls out a gun. He goes, "Merry Christmas," and just hangs the phone up.
Yeah.
Luckily, though, security got the tip.
Yeah. And Winthorpe, this is where he starts losing it, because even though he's there, they're like, "Look, it's not going to work out." And he loses his shit and starts yelling and waving a gun around, dressed up like Sloppy Santa. And when everyone drops on the ground, all freaked out, he just
he
struts out of the room.
He gets that moment of power.
Yeah. And Eddie Murphy's back there in his desk drawer, like, getting rid of all the drugs, and then he picks the joint up, puts that shit in his pocket.
But that leads to the next scene, because like he tries to strike it up in the bathroom or whatever, and at the same time the Dukes come in, and for some reason they have to go over their entire plan while they're just washing their hands.
No, they pay out.
Yeah, it's like, I told you, I won the bet. All right, let me get that $1.
But they do over-explain it. Like, "I did win that bet where we could break Winthorpe and make this vagabond into a success." And at this point, fucking Santa Dan, feral.
Yeah.
He's gone feral. And someone's like, Eddie Murphy comes running down the hall, and he's like, "Winthorpe," because he's trying to tell him, because he's like, "Look, man, they set us up." He's trying to make things right.
Yeah.
And all that Winthorpe can do is like turn his head at this odd angle in the bad light in his dingy, disgusting Santa outfit and go, rousing drunk.
I don't know, like, okay, when they're in the bathroom, they're explaining the whole thing, like, this is what we've done, but you don't want to leave Valentine in charge?
And then they once again casually drop the N-word.
No, this is with a hard R, too. I think everything would have been cool if they were just like, no, we can go a different direction or something like that, but come on, you can't just... Come on.
Jeez, it was so hard that even Eddie Murphy had to look around.
He was like, "Did they say that?"
Eddie chases him further, like he just, Dan stumbles across the street drunk as shit in his Santa outfit. He somehow stumbles on a city bus and takes him out of town.
And we are treated to one of the most visually drunk, like, if you could ever picture a homeless drunk Santa, this is it. It's fucking flawless. He's sitting there, he's disgusting, he's wet, his beard is matted, he reaches into his lapel, pulls out the salmon, pulls it through the beard, bites the beard and the salmon. He has more hair than fish in his mouth, but he is still chewing.
An eating, drinking, shitting, fucking Santa Claus.
You and I, Brady, we go over the scene from time to time, and it's just ridiculously wonderful. I mean, this guy is literally the definition of being in the dumps. And he has this cold stare at the women gawking at him across the aisle and everything, just like eating at them just out of spite.
Yeah, just tearing at this fish full of beard.
Yeah, you absolutely get fucking bad Santa vibes out of this.
But he has like way worse luck, so I guess somehow that was the perfect bus to pick. So it drops him off right next to Jamie Lee Curtis's apartment, and he gets off, and immediately a dog pisses on him. And not only does it get worse, and then it just starts raining on him again. But he still can't catch any luck, so he tries to blow his own brains out, and the gun jams.
But it fires when he tosses it away.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, I got very happy, because they walk inside the house, and Jamie Lee's decorating the Christmas tree. She doesn't even turn around. She's like, "Louie, help me decorate the tree." And he just kind of gutturally growls and walks into the bathroom. But she has that trashy toss tinsel, just strings of tinsel. I decorated my Christmas tree this year with trashy toss tinsel.
That stuff gets everywhere.
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
My grandma had that shit, and it went everywhere. We'd be picking that up out of the carpet for like months afterwards.
But yeah, now he goes and tries suicide part 2. But while he's trying to kill himself with pills, what kind of booze are you chugging over there, Chandler?
Well, I figured we'd wait until we got to the frozen concentrated orange juice portion of the menu. But,
Okay.
I'm thirsty. What I've got here is Bloodline. It's a blood orange ale from Flying Dog Brewing Company. It's an IPA made with blood orange puree and probably some frozen concentrated orange juice in there as well. I think it's something like 7% ABV.
Ooh.
Super citrusy on the nose. Super citrusy.
On the nose.
On the nose, yep. Like, it's honestly a really well-balanced IPA. Flying Dog has a tendency to just go really, like, full brunt, straight citrus, straight hops in their IPAs. No real kind of balance at all. But this one's honestly pretty well-balanced. It's got a little bit of that hoppy, piney bitterness to it. But the blood orange there's a little bit of sweetness there to really balance it out well. It's pretty good.
Well, that sounds pretty damn yummy. You think if you drank enough of them, you'd pass out in a stupor?
I hope so.
Speaking of being in a passed out stupor, Dan Aykroyd is just passed out in the tub with like a mouthful of pills, and at the same time Eddie Murphy comes in and he's like, "Hey, have you seen Dan?" He's like, "Yeah, he's just in the bathroom. Let's go get him." Oh wait, he's almost dead.
So they take him back to his real home, where a doctor gets him back to life, and they get this weird kind of Wizard of Oz wake-up reference, except for way more racist. Oh, Coleman, I had a terrible dream. I was poor and no one liked me. All because of some terrible radio edit. And then he turns and sees Billy Ray and he's like, "Oh!" Fucking lunges at him to kill him.
Almost chokes him to death on the spot. Like, I don't know how he got the leverage, but he was just like, yeah, out of bed.
Pure, unbridled Winthorpian rage.
With those soft hands.
He is a thoroughbred after all.
He was on the wrestling team at Harvard.
Oh! But those men were trying to have sex with him.
I mean, with those soft hands, probably felt like just wearing a turtleneck.
Just like a tiny midget trying to bring you down.
I understood that reference.
But they discuss how the Dukes had plotted, to basically ruin his life and set up Billy Ray in his place, and what they're going to do to get revenge. And Winthorpe's idea of revenge is a double barrel shotty to the kneecap.
Oh, no. It was like 3 shotguns. Like, he just has those laying around.
It's for the shooting club at Harvard, darling. But he's going to kneecap him with a shotty. And Billy Ray goes, "Hey, man, you can't just be kneecapping people with a shotty." He goes, "Well, why not?" He goes, "That's assault with a deadly weapon. That's at least 20 years. And then they come to the conclusion that Beaks, who Eddie Murphy's character had seen, the paycheck for also, they see him on TV and they realize that he is the key. This is their way to get back at the Dukes.
Yeah, this is where they have a little Ocean's 11 kind of plot or whatever. So the principal from the Breakfast Club has the secret information in his briefcase, and he's taking a train from Philly to New York that night into the next morning so they can do the exchange so they can get paid off, right? So their plan is to hop on the train, swap out information, and then leave. Their best fucking plan was to dress up as 4 fucking stereotypes and try to crash the party.
During a New Year's Halloween costume party? This is weird.
Man.
Maybe if they just decided to be those stereotypes as costumes, but I think they're supposed to really be those. I don't know. I don't know.
Hashtag blackface Aykroyd.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
How could you forget? He's like, "I'm a Duke from Jamaica."
Boogity, walk.
I mean, it didn't even fool the fucking principal from Breakfast Club.
No, but they're on the train and the fucking Locomotion song is playing. And then Eddie Murphy's character is the worst of Coming to America Eddie Murphy.
Saying something about Adwale, or I don't know.
Mbala, and he's got beef jerky in his pants that he keeps pulling out.
Is that what it is? Beef jerky in his pants?
And then we're joined by a drunken priest, which is Coleman.
Yeah, a drunken Irish priest.
Yeah, and then
of all things,
from Sweden. And this shit made me laugh. So when Jamie Lee comes in, she's like, "I'm Inga from Sweden," and Coleman looks at her and goes, "But you're wearing lederhosen."
Yeah, that's one of the lines that I randomly remember from this movie, from seeing it like way back in the day. What you're wearing later, Hosen? I guess in the 80s, like people just, I don't know, European.
I mean, the whole time she's doing her shtick, that guy's just like, could you please get your stereotypes straight?
Yeah, he's like, but you're from Germany. Yeah, I'm from Sweden, but you're wearing... They swap the briefcases. The first time they do it, it's very slick. They get away with it. And then Eddie Murphy takes that briefcase to Dan Aykroyd, who's hiding in the bathroom. And then they come back to the room, Dan Aykroyd does, and they switch the briefcase again, this time getting caught.
So I think the idea was they didn't want the briefcase to be missing, so you have 3 briefcases, one dummy one, and one where the information changes, that kind of thing.
Or would you just have one extra and then swap them, and then because he swapped the briefcase for another briefcase, and then they swapped that briefcase again. So why would Dan Aykroyd need the dummy briefcase back?
I don't know why Dan Aykroyd needed to be there at all, to be honest.
He could have just taken the briefcase, but instead he showed up in blackface, smoked a joint, and fucked the whole thing up.
That's what I'm saying. The whole thing was just to get Dan Aykroyd in blackface.
That's what it was. And then Jamie Lee Curtis got put to her back, and he's like, look, you guys don't follow the plan. The whore loses a kidney.
Well, the thing is, she followed the plan perfectly because she didn't drop that fucking Swedish-German bullshit the entire time she was on the train.
She did not, and that was enough to entice the not funny Belushi.
Oh, man, it's so cringe. Like, I just see him, and I'm just like, man, all the funny fat people are dead.
Oh. But he's wearing an ape suit, which plays out well because in the back cargo hold, there's a live ape.
This is where we get to that not quite cameo that I was talking about. Driving around the, do y'all know where I'm going with this?
The animal handler guys?
Yeah, that's fucking Al Franken. Fucking former Minnesota Senator Al Franken.
Former governor of Massachusetts or Minnesota.
Miss.
I'm Jesse Ventura.
Hi, I'm Jesse Ventura.
Yes, that was a good one.
But no, it's Al Franken.
The Belushi, while dressed up in ape, is like, hey man, you're at the party. And then you got the real ape looking at this ape like, oh man, I want to have sex with that ape because I'm a simple animal. And the guy's like, shut up, and hits him. And whenever he hits him, this offends the ape. So the ape,
the real gorilla's not happy with that. Yeah.
Clubs him on the head, knocks him out.
And then in true 80s comedy fashion, they shove him in the ape suit, and then they shove all that in the cage with the real ape.
And
it's so wacky.
We are treated to the insinuation of ape penetration.
I like to call it ape rape.
That sounded a little too interested, Chandler.
No, that was not interested. That was that's not a good look.
Disgust.
Yeah. Because realistically, both of these are just gorilla costumes. One is just a lot better than the other.
Yeah,
so there are people in there.
I mean, it's like a furry convention. You got first time versus a lifer.
That's like the porno version, yiffing places.
No.
Is that a thing? Can we put that on the list?
I mean, to just say when.
Veto.
But this is the climax of the film. Everyone invests their money now that they have the insider knowledge. And they go do the exchange with the fake information. And the Dukes, thinking that, they got the right information, are like, okay, no matter how much this OJ goes up, you're buying it.
So this is how this works. The insider information was that there was some kind of like winter storm in Florida, and it devastated the crops on the orange fields. So whatever product was left is going to be really, really worthwhile. It's going to be very expensive. So they're going to buy all of it now, and when they can't get any more, it's going to be worth a shitload of money later. So they're going to corner the market, right?
This is commodities.
Macadamys.
So that's obviously fake. So that means the price of the orange stuff is going to go down. So they're going to lose all of their money, and at the same time, Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy are going to buy all of it as much as they can while it's low, and even if it's just a percentage higher, they're going to sell it immediately and make all their money right there. So that's the plan. Bankrupt the old farts from the Muppets and become rich themselves. That'll learn them.
They do. in extravagant fashion. And then when the old farts come over, they're like, "Oh, how could you do this to us?" They said, "Well, Winthorpe bet me I couldn't." And they exchange $1 just to show them what it feels like. And those crispy boys, they get rich.
Yeah.
The crispy boy.
And there's this great little moment where the Duke brothers realize they're just absolutely done. And one of them has a fucking heart attack, basically die. And the bad guy from Wild Wild West is like, "Oh, your brother looks like he needs an ambulance." And the other guy's like, "Fuck him! Where's my money?"
Yeah, just about the money.
Oh yeah, he's just having a heart attack and fucking what's his name doesn't give a shit. He's just angry, pure angry.
But yeah, now we got the rich crispy boys, and they're down on the beach.
Boy,
Rich with yachts and shit.
yachts and shit, and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Hell yeah, still looking fine and feeling fine.
Such a classic, like, good guys win ending kind of thing.
Yeah, it is.
Are they the good guys though? They did commit insider trading.
They got away though.
Yeah.
They're the Robin Hoods of insider trading.
Yeah. Steal from the rich and just stay rich. Like, so rich your butler has a butler, that kind of thing.
I mean, he was loving life.
He was living La Vida Loca.
You know, it's been a long time since I've seen this, and the first time since I've ever seen it not on television. And I still love everything about this fucking movie. It's, to me, has been a hit since forever, and it's got one of those timeless feels to it in the sense that there's nothing there to really make it feel like...
Hashtag Twin Towers.
If you can shrug off a little bit of, like, lighthearted racism, you'll be fine.
A little bit of lighthearted racism.
This shit's funny.
You know, just
It's
take
funny.
it on the chin and grin. It's
Yeah, there are a
played for
few
laughs, so
N-bombs.
if
There are a few F-bombs. Not that F-bomb, the other F-bomb. The F-bomb that we can't say.
Homosexual.
That one.
gotta cut that too. I agree. This movie is just... It's just... I say this a lot, but like some of the best movies are just charming. There's something there. It's extremely funny and clever. Very well acted. Like I said earlier, this is Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy at their peak. They're so fun, and when everything comes together at the end, it's just well deserved. It's just like, that was a really good story.
I agree. This was a good one. I really like this pick, guys.
Excellent.
And a fantastic Christmas movie.
Yeah, it was. So jingle bells, motherfuckers.
So that was Trading Places from 1983. A resounding yes if you'd like to take it up and watch it for yourself. If anybody has any strong feelings, please leave them in the comments below.
Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Tap that bell icon so you know next time we have another one going. And if you'd like to contribute to us, make sure we don't have a Patreon, so just send us some money. Just give us some cash. Just give us some cash. Give us some cash.
If you're super rich, please trade places with us.
Don't forget to take a look at all of our different social medias. We got a very busy administrator, always putting stuff up on that Instagram or Twitter and that Facebook. They're all looking good and feeling good.
I appreciate that.
You guys, I'm a little drunk now.